Watching us on this as Monday, the 22nd of January 2024. We trust that your year is continuing on a high. Welcome to the Daily Report on a day, in fact, a week after Chief Justice Martha Koome indeed said that she was planning to have a meeting with the President. That meeting has indeed happened, perhaps different from her predecessor, that is retired Chief Justice David Maraga, who said he asked for a meeting with the former President. That didn't happen. We have the details of this meeting and much more coming your way right here on the Daily Report on our weekly segment, Power and Politics, every Monday. That is in about half an hour or so. We shall be having Super Senator, the nominated senator, that is Gloria Orwoba, speaking matters, women empowerment. Of course, we've seen what's happening with femicide situations and cases in the country, as well as looking at the entire aspect of the state of the nation. You want to stand by for that and much more right here on TV47. My name is George Maringa. Catherine Simaloy is our sign language interpreter tonight. We invite your feedback to 2047 is our SMS line. It's open. Start with your name, where you're watching us from, as well as your question or comment regarding the program. On X, I'm at George Maringa _ or at TV47 News. Use the hashtag Daily Report, hashtag Daily Report TV47. We thank you for joining us. But first, our top stories. Tonight, grim news. The decapitated head recovered last evening at a Kiambaa Dam is confirmed to be the missing head of the late Rita Waeni. Azimio la Umoja leader Raila Odinga condemns the sit-down by Chief Justice Martha Koome and President William Ruto, even as he battles cracks in his ODM backyard. Plus, majority of Kenyans are either in a severe financial distress or struggling to make ends meet. This is according to the latest InfoTrack polls on the cost of living. We thank you for choosing TV47 to inform you. Let's get the show on the road, shall we? And in a shocking development, the human head recovered on Sunday at a dam in Kiambaa, that is in Kiambu County, has been found to belong to the slain university student, that is Rita Waeni Mwendo. The family of the late Waeni identified the decapitated head of their kin at the Nairobi City Morgue. However, DNA samples have been picked for further analysis as the hunt for the main suspect picks pace. Moiga William begins our broadcast tonight with that report.
At the city mortuary, Nairobi, the family of Rita Waeni arrived to identify the human head recovered Sunday evening at a dam in Kiambaa, Kiambu County. Thereafter, escorted by investigators to the viewing room inside the morgue. Minutes later, the family emerges with a deep grief painted on their faces, confirming that the head recovered was of Waeni. Further details reveal that the process was hampered by the level of decomposition. However, the family was able to identify their late kin by the forehead, even though DNA samples were taken for further examination. From the city morgue, the family proceeded to Karori police station, where they positively identified an item of clothing, a blouse, that had been used to wrap the head. At the dam, also recovered was some of the slain woman's belongings, including her mobile phone. This new turn of events has given a hint on the possible movements of the killer after murdering Waeni. A post-mortem was conducted on the body on Friday, and the pathologist extracted samples for toxicology analysis to test the theory that the late Waeni was drugged before being murdered. As things stand, the killer is still at large, with detectives following crucial leads in a massive effort to capture the person behind the heinous killing that has since sent shockwaves across the country for the better part of last week. And at the Makadara Law Court, police have applied to hold William Ovie Opia and John Bula Sibor, Nigerian nationals, for 8 more days to complete investigations. The two linked to the murder of Waeni were arrested in Denderu, where recoveries of a hatchet, a butcher knife, a Kenya national ID, 6 mobile phones, 6 Airtel and Safaricom cards were made. Detectives are still burning the midnight oil in a bid to unravel and piece together critical information so as to solve the murder of Rita Waeni. Moige William, TV47, Nairobi.
Thank you, Moige, for that. The majority of Kenyans are either in severe financial distress or struggling to make ends meet. This is according to the latest InfoTrack polls on the cost of living released today, which also revealed that 85% of Kenyans believe there is a need for the government to urgently address the issue of high cost of living. Here now is our very own Chichi Josephine with more.
A majority of Kenyans say the country is heading in the wrong direction 1 year after President William Ruto took power.
Mtoto wa tajiri na maskini.
According to the survey conducted by InfoTrack between December 18 and 19 last year, out of the 73% affected Kenyans, only 5% of Kenyans are living comfortably amid the soaring cost of living, while 18% are in severe financial distress and 55% are struggling to make ends meet.
A majority, that is 73% of Kenyans, are either in severe economic situation currently.
The research firm indicates that the current economic hardship has forced 45% of Kenyans to engage in side hustles to supplement their income. Another 41% have reduced their expenditure on non-essentials, while 18% have taken out loans to fill the gap.
There are those that have reduced their spendings. You've reduced the kind of expenditure you have in the household so that you can cope with the hard economic situation.
InfoTrack researcher manager Jovin Wanyengo says the hard economic hardships have had various impacts on Kenyans, with 48% suffering increased stress and anxiety, 32% experiencing strains on relationships, 21% developing physical health issues, and 18% are mentally unhealthy.
It has increased stress level and anxiety, mentioned by 48%. 32% have had strain on personal relationship.
The northeastern region leads the list with 78%, followed by Coast with 76%, Central with 74%, and Rift Valley region at 73%.
Also, the economic situation.
However, Kenyans have identified specific areas that need more support to cope with the hard economic situations this year. 26% say there is need to reduce the cost of living. 13% propose a reduction on fuel cost and create employment opportunities. 12% suggest a reduction of tax rates. 6% support the agriculture sector and provide loans on low interest. 3% say ensuring food security countrywide, while 2% recommend to have an improvement in the health sector. Chichi Josephine, TV47.
Thank you, Chichi, for that. President Dr. William Ruto met Chief Justice Martha Koome at State House in Nairobi on Monday morning in an attempt to resolve the impasse between the executive and judiciary about corruption allegations against judges. The two said in public that they were prepared to meet and settle the dispute between the executive and judicial branches. But as Mike Kagwongo now reports, Azimio la Umoja leader Raila Odinga criticized Chief Justice Koome for conducting the meeting with President Ruto at the State House, calling it a reckless action.
President William Ruto and Chief Justice Martha Koome met Monday morning at the State House to discuss a standoff resulting from allegations of judicial corruption and executive interference. President Ruto claims that unidentified judges were collaborating with cartels to obstruct government initiatives after he received injunctions on his legacy housing and health projects.
What we have is a conversation about corruption, about vested interest, about cartels and people who want to hold our country hostage, and people who want to go and hide behind the independence of the judiciary to prosecute and to perpetuate the hostage-taking they have made of our country.
State House spokesperson Hussein Mohammed stated in a statement following the meeting that the main objective of the discussion were developing strategies to combat corruption, improve accountability, and enable the smooth and effective provision of services to Kenyans. Mohammed claims that the legislative executive and judicial branches have each decided to independently create rules, guidelines, regulations, and legislative proposals. It was further agreed that within 30 days, each arm of the government would submit the proposals made to a forum of National Council of Administration of Justice (NCAJ), convened by Koome. The forum will provide a roadmap for the immediate, medium-term, and long-term measures to be undertaken. However, Chief Justice Martha Koome came under fire from opposition leader Raila Odinga during his speech in Lamu County for caving in to President William Ruto's demands for a meeting. The Chief Justice's choice to sit down and engage in conversation with the executive, according to Odinga, is an insult to the judiciary's independence.
If there is supposed to be a dialogue, this dialogue should be held in a neutral place. State House is the head of the executive, is the seat of the executive. That's where the president resides. If there's going to be a dialogue over issues of governance, they should be held in a neutral ground. But this means that the judiciary itself is being compromised by the executive. The judiciary is being held hostage by the executive. 11
new judges for the Court of Appeal and an additional 25 judges for the High Court will be hired with the help of the increased financial allotment. Mike Kagwango, TV47, Nairobi.
Thank you, Mike, for that. Azimio la Umoja One Kenya leader, that is Raila Odinga, has responded to the emerging concerns about an existence of divisions within the principal parties in his coalition, citing such expressions as mere propaganda, while assuring that Azimio is strong and will aim to continue checking the government. The concerns of a division emerged after many leaders affiliated to the Azimio coalition failed to show up at the Jaramogi Oginga Odinga 30th Memorial Anniversary held in Kisumu last week.
Speaking in Lamu County when he attended the launch of water projects, Odinga has made it clear that no cracks exist in the opposition coalition, as quoted earlier. Odinga has denied allegations of conflicts among affiliated parties, especially those aimed at the Orange Democratic Movement Party, this even after a few members of the parliament defected to support President William Ruto's government ambitions.
Azimio has remained intact, except a few members of parliament who decided to take a walk. But the leadership of Azimio is intact. There is no dissension. There is no disagreement anywhere in Azimio.
Odinga states that such changes cannot be sufficient to bring about divisions, maintaining that the alliance has been faced with a task to save the nation due to what he referred to as oppression from Kenya Kwanza government, one ambition that has continued to keep the union strong.
We have stood very firm. Azimio is on a course of liberation of this country. Azimio, there may be sometimes disagreement of opinion on one issue or the other, but that itself does not mean in any way disintegration. So I want to inform all our members, wherever they are, across the country, Azimio iko imara. Azimio is remaining united, and Azimio will not break up anytime soon.
However, some questions still linger, such as why most leaders in Azimio failed to attend the memorial ceremony of the late Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, including Azimio core principles, to which he responds by stating that Uhuru Kenyatta, the former president, and Kalonzo Musyoka of the Wiper Party were out of the country to attend the swearing-in ceremony of the DRC president. Instead, representatives were sent at the event in Kisumu. Paul Monio, TV 47.
Now, 1 week after secondary schools opened for the year 2024 first term, it's a sigh of relief for parents and all-day scholars in different constituencies in Kiambu County after MPs began releasing NGCDF bursary checks worth 30 million Kenya shillings. Beneficiaries called upon the national government to consider pumping more funds in the education sector to help the needy students who struggle to get education. Speaking during the check disbursement ceremony in Kinyongori Secondary School, Limuru constituency MP, that is John Kirago, revealed that the national government released 30 million shillings in the first phase, with a total of 63 million shillings that has been allocated for 2024 finance, and 13 million shillings will be pumped to technical schools across the constituency.
Wale ambao wako chini kabisa sana, watu ya day schools, priority ndio na wao waendelee na shule na mambo ya shule, na tunatarajia hivi karibuni tutapata hiyo pesa ingine ya watu ya university na tertiary colleges. Lakini unajua tuko na kazi mingi sana tunafanya, tunatengeneza mambo ya junior secondary school facilities kama laboratories, kama hapa kwetu Limuru tumemaliza nyingi na tunaendelea kuzijenga. Mambo ya mashule hizi ilikuwa mambo ya basari, kwa hivyo pesa ziko, lakini zinakuja vile wewe na mimi tunalipa kodi, na ndio tunasema lazima watu walipe kodi, kwa sababu kama watu hawalipi kodi, ile mipango ambao tuko nayo ya serikali haiwezi kuja. Sio wale watu wanapiga kelele hatutaki ati hii. Sisi tunasema kama Wakenya wakati huu sisi ni lazima tusimame na serikali yetu na tusimame na mambo ya kulipa ushuru, ndio ile mipango yote serikali iko naye, mambo ya mabarabara, mambo ya affordable houses, mambo ya universal healthcare, yote ni yetu, na sisi kama wananchi wa Kenya, sisi hatutakuwa watu wa kuomba kila siku.
Wakati unampea, unajua hiyo pesa inatumika hapa, itasaidia huyo mzazi wa huku Limuru, na pesa yake yenye atakuwa analipa itakuwa inapungua. Ndio maana tukaona tusaidie watoto wote wa day schools. Kila mtoto wote wa day schools in Limuru atakuwa anapokea hizo pesa, iwe ametoka wapi ama wapi, kwa sababu hiyo pesa inarudi hapa tu Limuru.
Nafurahia sana sababu tunaona amefuata ile inaitwa nini process ya kupeana hizo basari. Kwa hivyo hakuna mzazi yote ambaye ameapply basari mtoto wake atakosa kwenda skuli.
Ningetaka serikali tusaidie kutoka kwa 10,000 to 4,000. At least wazazi wapate pesa za kusaidia watoto. Unajua huyu mtoto akikuja nyumbani anapata mzazi ametafuta fees na ametafuta chakula. Kwa hivyo ningetaka serikali itupunguzie at least hata kwa chakula, atupunguzie kwa chakula shuleni, atupunguzie kwa mambo ya school fees, ndio at least watoto wetu wasaidike.
Tuberculosis, TB, remains one of the top infectious disease causes of death globally, while Kenya has demonstrated worthy progress in achieving a 32% decline in TB occurrence and a 42% reduction in deaths between 2015 and 2020. TB remains a major challenge in the country. To deal with this, the National Tuberculosis, Leprosy and Lung Disease Unit under the Ministry of Health has launched the 2023-2024 to 2027-2028 National Strategic Plan for Tuberculosis, Leprosy and Lung Health, a strategic plan that sets out the roadmap for the realization of a TB-free world. Gracing the occasion at Afya House in Nairobi, Principal Secretary, State Department for Public Health and Professional Standards, Mary Muthoni, reiterated the government's commitment to end TB scourge in the country.
All right. Do you want to do the countdown?
I acknowledge each one of you for making the effort to be here today, especially those who have traveled from the rural areas. And our school children, Saseni, your dedication is a testament to the shared vision we have for the health and well-being of our nation. And as we launch this strategic plan, let us renew our commitment to ending the scourge of TB in Kenya.
Beyond that, we must also leverage available expertise and use data to guide our programs. USAID is proud to be a partner in developing the strategic plan, providing both technical expertise and financial support.
We have established the Parliamentary TB Caucus, which is chaired by Honorable Mule, who gave his apologies, would have been here with us. And through collaborative efforts with communities and civil society organizations, we have achieved incredible milestones, including a notable reduction in TB-related incidences.
The strategic plan aligns seamlessly with the global WHO and TB strategy, whose overarching goal is to reduce the incidence of TB, preventing death from the disease, and mitigating the catastrophic economic costs associated with TB-related illness.
Human Resource Management Professionals Examinations Board earlier today released Certified Human Resource Professionals, that is CHRP and CBET Diploma in HRM exams, where the 1,366 candidates who sat for the exams last year, private candidates was considered to have performed well. According to HRMPB chairperson, that is Sharon Kisire, the CBET Diploma program, which was started at Kabete National Polytechnic, has made significant strides and is attracting attention from applicants in a number of other TVET institutions who plan to take part in the next test series.
HRP examinations series were administered in 8 centers across the country between Wednesday 22nd November and Wednesday 29th November 2023. CBET diploma exams were administered at Kabete National Polytechnic from the 6th to the 8th of December 2023. And even as I mentioned Kabete National Polytechnic, I want to appreciate the students who have come. Could you just stand and we appreciate you? Thank you for making history for us that you're the first students to attend a release of an examinations. But I'm hoping you're doing a CHRP, not just students of Kabete. Yes? The diploma, sorry, the diploma. You're studying diploma. Thank you very much. Be our good ambassadors. In terms of the candidature, in total we had 1,366 candidates who were examined under the old and the revised CHRP curriculum. The male candidates were 313, making 23%, while the female candidates were 1,053, making 77%. And I think, Kanisa, this is the highest of the males so far, at 23. Wanaendelea kukuja juu. This calls a concerted effort to all the stakeholders to encourage more male students to take human resource programs. In addition, 16 inaugural candidates sat for the competency-based.
Time now for business news, and the Ministry of Labour and Social Protection is working on enhancing the transition of graduates with special abilities to institutions of higher learning after noting the alarming rate of such students missing out on opportunities due to a lack of inclusivity. Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Labour and Social Protection, that is Florence Bore, says the government working on means of ensuring a smooth transition that would push for a better inception and inclusion in institutions of higher learning. Here are details of these and other stories in our business news roundup.
A lack of finances, poor inclusion, and a lack of disability-friendly infrastructure has held back people with disability from accessing institutions of higher learning and, by extension, quality education. Now, the Ministry of Labour and Social Protection is partnering with donors and funding bodies to ensure funding is channeled to remedy this. Meanwhile, banks are looking towards formal financing of the matatu industry to promote joint ownership to guarantee prompt repayment. This comes as the Matatu Welfare Associations within the city are promoting individual ownership of public service vehicles for better services and the overall improvement of the sector.
We are supporting group. Hii hatutaki kuacha mtu nyuma. Ukiwa na shida, kulipa loan, gari nalipa loan. Kama tunalipia wenye magari loan for 4 years. Mtu ananunua gari ingine tunamlipia. Zetu kweli tutashindwa na kujilipa. Tutajifunga. tutajifunga tutazilipa hizo magari.
Finally, the East Africa Chamber of Commerce, Industry and Agriculture is looking towards training as value addition to attract investors beyond the border. The president of the Regional Chamber of Commerce, Richard Ngatia, says the financial literacy training from the European Business University will improve the chambers.
Support the private sector, engage its public sectors in all countries in the region to be able to actually support the government, in fact, undertake that development process.
Towards financial literacy across its member countries. The scholarships worth total Kenya shillings approximately 4 billion be distributed to 14 countries across these 14 countries and will be conducted online by the European Business University in Luxembourg.
Hibak Said for TV47.
Thank you, Hibak. The Housing Committee from the National Assembly has today begun to conduct public participation process in Lodwar, Turkana County, to collect views from residents on how the government should implement the affordable housing across the country. The residents expressed their opinions on how Turkana pastoralist community will benefit from the housing program, since majority of the residents are living in nomadic lives. According to the chairman, Housing Committee from National Assembly, Johanna Ngeno, who mentioned that the program is mainly to improve the status of housing in Lodwar town so that the residents can access the affordable houses.
On a list in this program. And we have masons, we have electricians, we have those who will do building and construction, and we also have plumbers. So you can see our children from Turkana will also benefit a lot, and I know mikakati imewekwa because somehow it will also create some employment. Na saisi tumetoa wengi. Hata wale kuna wenye wamesimama hapa from the wakati sector. At least I could pick 2 or 3 who are our products.
Siku hii ya leo tuko hapa Turkana County kwa mijadala ya kufanya ile kitu inaitwa public hearings, which is under Article 118 of the Constitution. Yenye ina recommend kwamba wakati sheria undwa na wakati inabidi pitishwe bunge, ni lazima kwanza kabla hijafika stages zingine 3, because kuna first reading, second reading, third reading, alafu ndio ipelekwe kupitishwa na kuwekwa sahihi na rais.